Hey guys, Ronnie P, Pilot, Gardener, and Reefer. Just wanted to give you guys a little look at the tank. About a month and a half from startup on the tank. And got 7 fish in here total now. Just put in a cube. It's feeding time, so anyway, got all the fish kind of jumbled up over here. And I think we're looking at all but one. We've got a green mandarin. You know, he kind of keeps to himself, you know, even during feeding time. We might see him come out here. He stays, that rock that's on the left side of the tank, he kind of stays cooped up behind that rock. And if there's not a lot of action outside the tank, you know, people in the living room getting close to the aquarium, he'll get out and he'll make his way over all the rocks, and you'll see him kind of in the front and all that stuff. But anyway, so everything seems to be going really, really good. I did a check on alkalinity the other day, running about a 7.2 right now. I got the, I think it's Reeferoids from Red Sea. I believe it's like plankton for the corals. I put a dose of that in there the other day. I need to get the little syringes so that I can spot feed that stuff straight to the corals. That probably work a lot better. But anyway, I don't know if we've got a. Just looking here at this snail down here. It almost looked like he was attacking something, but I think he flipped upside down or something. And anyway, he kind of, like almost all of him came out of the shell. Anyway, all right. So I've got my power heads off right now. You can see I've got a little 6-line wrasse. I've got a female leopard wrasse, and she is really pretty. The 6-line wrasse is really pretty too, a juvenile. But check out the female leopard wrasse. Really pretty. My goby. It's doing pretty good here. Clownfish. They're growing. All the corals are doing real good, not getting just, you know, any kind of spectacular, you know, growth yet, which I know it hadn't been very long. I think I've had the majority of the corals in for coming up on about a month. I've seen a little bit of growth in the mushroom. It's not quite as big as it is when it's completely, you know, I guess spread out, but it's probably because of this little crab down here. Might be bumping up against it. But these palithoas up here, I can tell they're starting to, you can tell they're trying to branch down off of this this little frag piece, you know, which is good. So these may be trying to spread out, which is what I want. This the star polyp is kind of finicky. Like it'll come completely out, and you know the whole thing will just be, you know all the little green polyps will be, you know, out showing and all that, and then next day they may all close up and you won't see it for a day or two. And now it's back. You know, it looks like it's trying to come back. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if there's like some little hair algae or something that's trying to grow on it and it's kind of screwing with it, or, you know, or if it's just, you know, something, you know, like if it's just being finicky. The acan that I'm sorry, Acropora that I've got up here, it's doing pretty good. You can see all the little green polyps are out on it. Let me see if I can get this camera to zoom in on that. But you can see like all the little polyps, you know, and that thing's, you know, stony. And you can see all those little polyps that are kind of out all over it. Now, of course, my zinnia, you can see the star polyp is just kind of It's just kind of going on it. Now the Xenia, of course, they look really happy. They're happy to be here. They always look like this. I've got so the power heads are off, so of course there's not a lot of current. Now my return pump on the sump is on, but that's all the flow we have right now. You can see the little mushroom coral. I mean, it's pretty, but it's just kind of, you know, it's growing very slowly. Looks like our shrimp is maybe coming out. Let's see if I can see him. Yeah, you can kind of see him hiding back there. It's a red fire shrimp. He comes out only at feeding time, and then when he does that, it's not for very long. But anyway, my frog spawn, it looks good. It's always looked like this. You know, it looks normal. About like it was when I bought it, maybe slightly larger. Those palithoas, you can see them. They're actually really pretty. And they actually can show a little bit more peach color to them. But they look really healthy. So I'm sure that they'll probably do well. I mean, they don't act like anything bothers them. And the zoanthids that I've got over here, they're really pretty. And I'm just hoping maybe to start seeing them maybe branch out a little bit. But of course, they're not moving much. But yeah, they're really pretty, y'all. Colors, you know, kind of fluorescent. But they're doing well. Anyway. Everything looks really good, but that leopard wrasse is just really pretty. I know I watched some videos that kind of talked about, you know, this fish not eating, you know, well, maybe like harder to feed this fish. But it seems to be, you know, I put that shrimp in there, the frozen food, and it just eats like crazy. So I haven't found any problems feeding him. He was eating the day after I put him in the tank. First day, he was just swimming everywhere, but wouldn't eat anything. And what I think is kind of funny is my regal tang follows the leopard wrasse. It's almost like, I mean, the regal tang is just fascinated, I guess, with the leopard wrasse. And you can see, and like they don't, like it doesn't really look like they're schooling up or anything. And the leopard wrasse, to me, doesn't even, you know, doesn't seem like it cares a whole lot about being followed. But if the leopard wrasse goes to the other side of the tank, well, here comes the regal tang. The regal tang is going to follow the leopard wrasse. So they kind of stay together. Now, of course, it's the regal tang following the leopard wrasse. And, of course, the little 6-line wrasse is just doing his own little thing. I wish the little mandarin would come out. But I don't think we're gonna get to see it. I don't know if coming around to the side and trying to take a peek around the rock would do any good. But I know it's back there. Yeah. Yeah, it's back there. It's right up against the black part of the overflow, right, kind of going up. There's not quite enough light to see her. Anyhow, so I don't think we're gonna get to see it today. I can barely make her out back there. Yeah, she's back there. But yeah, I don't really have a ton of cleanup crew, but I've got there's probably 25 snails. I've got one really large turbo snail. And, you know, and these little, I guess you call them what, Nacerius, you know, type snails, the sand crawlers, and of course this one's going up the glass. But they seem to be doing a pretty good job keeping it clean. I didn't want to overdo it with cleanup crew. I know a lot of people recommend like, you know, one little cleanup guy per gallon, and there's probably, I don't know, I think I've got about 8 or 9 crabs, and the rest are snails, so there's probably 35. This is a 54-gallon display. This is the Red Sea 250 Reefer. But anyway, everything's doing good. I really like the Ecotech Radion. It's really nice. It does a really good job. The timer is really nice. The little pre-programmed profiles are nice, and being able to set when you want it to come on and when it to go off, and it just kind of stretches out and customizes that program to fit what I want. Anyway, it's doing really good. I like it. The colors are really nice. And yeah, it's really good. The current USA power heads are nice. I've been able to control the amount of flow that I want. I think right now I've got them on about 50% of what they're capable of, and I think they're 650 gallons an hour at full blast. So there's a pretty good bit of flow in here. And of course, I've got the remote control for my power head. So it's the current USA eFlux series. Really nice. So I've got a feed button, so the pumps will, or the power heads will cut off for 10 minutes. And you can change, you know, how often, how much you want them to, you know, like if you set 50% or 100% flow, you can actually make them ramp up and down, and you can change how fast they do that. And yeah, it's really nice. Really nice. I'll show you a little bit what I've got going on under the tank, give you a little brief. All right, let me zoom out. Here we go. Cut the little light on. All right, so I've got my Somatic 60S protein skimmer, and you can see it's working away, doing really good. I need to empty it out. But this is probably 4 days worth of skim. It runs fairly silent. Like, you don't hear much air suction, but you can hear the pump, you know, just a little bit of vibration in the pump. And I'm still getting some bubbles from it down below coming out of the return. And I'll come down here and let you see that. And I mean, I've been running this thing for, I guess, probably, it's been in here for at least 3.5 weeks. And I'm still getting bubbles down here. And you can see how many, I mean, there's a lot of bubbles kind of coming below the little bubble plate. So I'm not really sure exactly why I'm getting that. I don't know if Somatic or Vertex, I don't know if they watch this, you know, if they'll see my video or not. Maybe I'll give them a link or something, and maybe they might know what's going on with this thing. But you can see the, you know, the bubbles that are coming down from below. I'm not really sure why that's happening. Now these bubbles are coming from the return from my algae scrubber, but you can see bubbles right here coming right around the heater. You know, and they're coming right out of the return of the Somatic 60S. Now, of course, I've got the Clearwater Scrubbers, algae scrubber, and it's doing, you know, I guess it's doing its job, working. I kind of got a few little kinks on the install worked out, but you can see just a little bit of algae growth right in there. And you can tell the screen is starting to collect some algae, if it'll focus in on that right. But you can tell up on that top left corner, it's a little darker. That's actually some algae. But it's pretty much seeded over the whole area where that's flowing. Now, it's not real thick, and I've had it running now for about, probably a week and a half. You know, it probably just takes a little while just to kind of get the seeding process started. And I would say that the little screen in there is seeded now. So now I guess just waiting for, you know, some really, really thick algae to start growing on that screen. But yeah, it's definitely got some. Let me see if I can take the lid off of the top of this thing. Maybe that might show us a little bit more. But yeah, you can kind of see it right there. See how it's darker? And you can kind of see that far left, that screen with, it doesn't really have much, I don't think there's much water flowing over that. But where there is, you can definitely see the algae starting to grow. Yeah, check that out. So it's definitely looks like we got some algae growing. And this is about a week and a half since, maybe just over a week since I got it working properly. Had some issues with the, and I've got a video posted showing some of the issues, and you can actually hear the noise that I had from the return pipe back into the sump. You could hear it gurgling, and you can hear the sound actually in the video. And then when I kind of got the solution for that figured out, then I reposted a video, and you can see the difference. I mean, it's clear, you know. But it's doing good. Ended up removing the top off that came with this, and I got a little glass shelf bracket. You can kind of see it on the left and right of my sump wall. And then I screwed a piece of like, this is like finished oak shelving or pine. I think it's pine. Anyway, cut that up. So I bought one board and I cut it into 4 pieces. So, you know, over time, I'm sure that wood probably won't stand up, you know, to the saltwater environment that it's in back here. But I've got 3 more pieces out there in my toolbox, and I'll be able to swap that out and be easy. And I'm running the Auto top off. And so I bought me a little 5.5 gallon, I think it's a Marineland tank from PetSmart. Anyway, it fits perfect down here. It's not as big as I'd like it to be. Like, I kind of wouldn't mind having a 10-gallon tank. It'd be better, but there's not a lot of real estate. And I didn't want a lot of vertical height on my tank, just so that I'd have room to get to all my plugs and everything. I'm also running that Digital Aquatics Reef Keeper Light. Now, I'm not really utilizing all the functionality of this thing, but I do have it monitoring the temperature, and it'll cut my heater off if it tries to, you know, if something happened and this thing, you know, failed in the on position and started heating up my water. I do have it set up to where it'll cut it off if it tries to exceed, I think 80.5 degrees, like 80.5 or something like that. If it tries to go over that, it'll cut the power off to the outlet powering it. But I know there's a lot more, you know, functionality that I could use that for, but I just haven't really gotten into it yet. But anyway, everything's looking good, y'all. I was kind of thinking about maybe taking my filter socks off completely, and maybe going to just like mesh filter socks, just to kind of trap maybe some of the heavier debris. And I need to clean them out now. But anyway, all right, guys. Well, that's a pretty decent little update on everything that I've got going on under here. So if you have any questions, just leave a comment. And if you any questions or concerns or any of that, just let me know. If it's your first time to watch my videos, please subscribe. I do videos quite regularly. And like I said, I'll be doing updates on all my equipment. You know, I'm on the protein skimmer and the clear water scrubber. And this is the CW50, if any of y'all were wondering which model I have. I've got the smallest one because I think this one's rated for like 120 gallons. So it's definitely, you know, because there's a lot of people that are running algae scrubbers and they end up having to, you know, turn the lights off and all that, especially if they've got, you know, one that's larger than they need. say they end up having to ramp their lights down. So I think this one's sized appropriately. Anyway, but yeah, please subscribe. I post videos, at least a couple, 2 or 3 videos a week I'm trying to do, and if you're interested, do that. Hit the little bell so you'll be notified when I do that. And I thank you so much for checking it out, y'all. We'll see y'all later. Bye.